had to do with China, and I think Larry was talking around the issue of tariffs and what the deal might be. But in the middle of all this, I think is something very, very important. I think Trump made an important concession on Huawei. It looked like a throwaway. We think that's actually much more important than people realize, and it's the thing that's going to restart the negotiations. And from our point of view, I think actually, contrary to what I even thought a few weeks ago, I think these negotiations could proceed at a much faster pace now that this Huawei thing has been taken off the table as an obstacle. So I think in the middle of what Larry Kudlow was saying on China, I think that is sort of the gem in the middle of the whole thing. Yeah, and then as far as some of the other things, the steady dollar and so on and so forth, I'm much more skeptical about trying to steady currencies. I think we've learned over 50 years it's much better to let the markets determine where currencies are, and I think that if I had to make a bet, I would say we're going to continue to do that. And then finally on Art Laffer, who I happen to know personally as well, I think the key point that he made was correct, is that Laffer pointed out the importance of incentives, the supply side of the equation, not just the demand side. I think he was right on that. The only thing that I would disagree with Larry or anybody who says, the only thing you need to do is have growth. Actually, the only thing you need to do is have healthy growth. You can actually have unhealthy growth. It can lead to financial crises. So it's very important for us to keep the eye on the ball and make sure that we don't, for example, get growth by putting on piles of debt that's based on poor companies and so on and so forth.
Or
that's sort of my basic
poor
take.
economic policies. I'm thinking of Europe now. Their focus on negative interest rates, and of course Christine Lagarde, likely to be the new head of the European Monetary Union. I mean, that's a problem when you think that the central bank is going to rescue economy without doing the really serious things for economic growth, like lowering taxes, lowering regulations, lowering the cost of production. Of course, negative interest rates may lower it, but for the wrong reasons, right?
Well, I think they're in a dilemma, and that's why you have the negative interest rates, as you point out, because a lot of the other things you're talking about, the incentives, less regulation, and so on and so forth, is not being addressed with as much interest and as much energy